Hi friends, welcome back to the Saffron Box. Today, continuing ahead with the House Lord series, I'll be talking about the placement of the fifth Lord of your birth chart. So this is the fifth video in this series, video number 5. There are already 4 videos on this topic where I've covered the placement of the Lagnesh, the second house, the second Lord, the third Lord, as well as the fourth Lord. So in this video, I'll talk about a very important planet, the planet which rules over your Dharma house, which rules over your Lakshmi Sthan, the fifth Lord. So this particular planet is always a supporter of the Lagna. So it always supports what you do, what you are. And the fifth house as such rules over your mind, rules over your intelligence, your higher education, the ability to manage things, the ability to use your mind, apply your mind, the ability to manage your atmosphere, manage your environment. How creative are you? How intelligent are you? What kind of dharmic tendency do you have? What kind of progeny, the promise of children, and what kind of a progeny will you have, what kind of a relationship will you have with them. So the fifth lord is a very important planet, and wherever it goes, it shows us the kind of connection, the kind of the connection which it forms with that particular house by way of placement. It shows where are we applying our mind, how are we using our intelligence, which sphere of life is asking for our mental abilities, is asking for our intelligence to be used. Right, so the fifth lord's placement is always a very important thing to be seen. Whenever we see a horoscope after the Lagna, after the 10th lord, etc., the trinal houses are always to be studied carefully. Right, so the planet which rules over the fifth house is always going to play an important role in terms of your luck, in terms of your education, your inclination towards performing your duties. The fifth house is the higher note of the ninth house also. So understanding this planet's placement always is an important part of understanding a horoscope. So before I begin, I would like to again emphasize that this is a general indication. You may find a few things holding true for you, some things may not, because it is a general indication. This is a basic understanding of the of a planet's placement. Thereafter, very many layers come on top: the signs, the conjunctions, the aspects, the nakshatras, and thereafter the dashas. Are the right dashas also coming in or not? Right. So I'll talk about the fifth lord's placement through all the houses, the first house, and going on till the 12th house. So the fifth lord in the first house, when it goes in the first house, when it goes to the Lagna, it's placed there. It shows that your dharma factor, or the inclination towards doing your duties, increases. What is your dharma? What is the right way to conduct yourself? You're very conscious about it. So such a person is always very conscious about what his or her deeds are, likes to stick to the right path. There should be no other affliction also. So the planet should be well placed. So in such a case, the person is intelligent enough, is self-conscious enough to use his mental capabilities in the right direction. This also shows an affinity or a strong affection towards one's children. Shows an intelligent and a creative person. So you could also be a very intelligent or a creative person, and the same traits your children also have. Right, so this is a good combination for having children, having progeny. the other factors, the other karaka and all should also be well placed, then this shows that yes, the promise of progeny is there in the chart. Then this native could also like a lot of enjoyment, tendency to be entertained a lot, or is somehow connected towards the entertainment industry as such. Like speculation, the fifth house is also of speculation. Whatever speculation you undertake towards your materialistic gains. So, such a person could be trading in stocks, in equity, etc., or likes to take a few risks sometimes, right? Now, how do these things finally translate? What kind of results they give, whether it's a good result or a bad result, then it depends on the placement of the planet. If it is well placed, then good results come in. But if it is afflicted, then the same things can make a person go down, can take you down. Like speculation can take you down. Too much of enjoyment, too much of indulgence, self-indulgence can take you down, can bring a downfall, right? Then the fifth lord in the second house. The fifth lord in the second house shows that your mind, your mental abilities are going towards earning money, accumulating assets, accumulating assets for your family. So your family finances, your wealth creation is where your mind goes, right? So here there could be a lot of ideas which you have, a lot of innovative ideas you might be having in terms of on how to invest your money, how to grow your money, how to make your money work for you. The fifth lord, when it goes to the second house, is also going into a kendra from itself. So this also shows that your efforts are towards wealth creation, towards accumulation of wealth, towards your higher education also, towards the growth of your family. Then you could also be working in the food industry, in the restaurant business, in the hospitality sector, somewhere where food is involved, where speech is involved. You could be working in the financial sector also, or there's a lot of communication between you and your children. So you are as such a very talkative person, and your children have also taken up the street, right? Then the fifth lord in the third house. The fifth lord in the third house shows that your intelligence, your mental ability is being met with a lot of creative ideas. The third house is, it shows germination of ideas, creative thinking, creation of desires. So here it could show a person who is mentally very creative and physically very active also. So you are able to put in a lot of hard work towards what you want to do. You are able to translate your creativity into action, translate it into something very fruitful. You could convert your hobbies into your profession, into your work, if the 10th house is also involved. Right? So here it shows somebody who's able to put in their interest to good use. So artists can be seen from here, creative people can be seen from here. This also shows a tendency to go towards higher education or gain of education. So whatever you want to study, you're able to study that. Circumstances favor you. Your siblings could also be like-minded. Your siblings could also be very creative people, intelligent people. But this also shows someone who's very restless, because the mind has gone to the third house. And I've already explained what the third house is all about in my previous videos. So the mind could be of favoring nature, you could be very restless, and you are a very ambitious person also. right? So by putting your ideas to use, by using your mental energy, you want to achieve a lot. So the mind is always occupied with something new. So getting settled mentally or getting settled somewhere becomes a problem. So you always want more, but sometimes depending on what kind of afflictions this placement has, or if the moon is also not very well placed, in such a case the person is very restless, does not know where to stop, does not know exactly how to translate their ideas into action, right? Then the fifth lord in the fourth house. The fifth lord in the fourth house shows somebody who is thinking about their home, thinking about their comforts, their luxuries, is very comfort oriented. So whatever they want to do, they want to keep their comfort in mind, right? So somebody who's involved in who has good ideas about investing in land, in property, in conveyances, intelligent person. Though the fifth lord has gone 12th from itself, but when the fifth lord goes into a kendra bhava, the lord of a trine going into a kendra bhava, shows that a rajyog is also being formed. So here you get good support of your mother. Your mother is also a very intelligent person, very comfort oriented. These people like to be very innovative when they are making a house, when they're building up their house. So good ideas, their house could be very well designed by themselves. This also shows somebody who's working in the field of property and estate, like somebody who's an interior decorator, an architect, involved in property matters, property consultants, real estate agents. If the seventh house is also involved, if the seventh lord also is getting connected, so here you could have connection with real estate, a deep connection with real estate. You could be investing, buying and selling a lot of property, right? This shows a person who's very who's quite inclined towards education, wants to study a lot, because both the houses, the fourth and the fifth houses, are interconnected then. So your level of education could be high. The what you studied in your graduation level, you could carry on the same thing, so there's no stream change, like it happens many a times with people, right? So this shows somebody who uses their head and heart equally. So somebody who's very well balanced, generous, is kind hearted, who's using his heart and mind in equilibrium. Then the fifth lord in the fifth house itself. So here it shows somebody, one, this placement is a very powerful one, because the lord of a dharma house sitting inside the dharma house itself, in his own house, shows a very powerful placement. So here, your chances of accumulating wealth, education, using your creativity, progeny, the promise of children, all these possibilities become very strong. The fifth lord sitting in its own house also aspects the 11th house. So all these things, gain or fulfillment of your desires regarding your progeny, regarding your education, regarding money matters, can get fulfilled, especially if benefic planets are involved, especially if Jupiter is well placed, because Jupiter is the karaka of the fifth house also. It's the karaka of the 11th house also. So if Jupiter is supporting this placement and other factors are also involved, then in such a case, this shows somebody who's very intelligent, who's sharp, mentally very sharp, has got a good chance of having good children, intelligent children, able children. Then the fifth lord in the sixth house. Fifth lord in the sixth house. Now here the planet has gone into a trik bhava. So this could show some difficulty in having children, or this could show some medical problems while having children. something which is a little complicated with regard to children. So while you were trying to have your children, you had to undergo some health issues. The delivery of children can be a little troublesome. Going under the knife during delivery, it is applicable to females. Or the the body parts which are related to the fifth house, the digestion system. All these organs could be a cause of concern medically. So this shows that there could be health issues while having children. This also shows that you are using your mental ability, your creativity, your mental strength to deal with competition. So you face competition and you deal with them. You have medical issues, you deal with them. So in a way, for the sixth house, which is a trik bhava, which is a upche bhava but a trik bhava, for the sixth house there is some benefit because a trinal lord has gone and has got posited there. So there is some benefit for the sixth house, but the fifth house can suffer a bit, right? So here your children may also face competition or may face difficulties in some way or the other. You could also be facing difficulties from time to time, but the good part is that if the planet is free of any affliction here, then you're able to tide over competition, tide over the hurdles and difficulties which you face very easily. You have that presence of mind, you're mentally strong, very resilient also to tide over difficulties, right? Here the person is able to manage their daily routine with a lot of you know with a lot of ease. So howsoever busy their daily routine is, they're able to manage a lot of things easily. Multiple things can be managed. Then the fifth lord in the seventh house. This combination shows someone who takes his romantic affairs into marriage, right? So fifth house rules over your love affairs, you know, uh, your romance angle in your life. So here you could marry the same person whom you fall in love with. So chances of the love marriage also increase over here. Then you think about your spouse, you think about your partner, you're very concerned about your partner, about your spouse, right? So this shows again that the lord of a trinal house has gone into a kendra bhava. So some kind of rajyog is also getting formed over here. That depends on other things, of course, but broadly speaking, as soon as a trinal lord goes to a kendra bhava, Trikon Lord going into a Kendra Bhava, there is a Rajyog also. But what degree of Rajyog, that has to be seen with an individual chart. So you think about your partner, you're very involved with your partner. You may take up business ventures. Your mind is involved in business matters. You may take up partnership work. You may also look at chances to study abroad, right? Your partner could be somebody who's religious, who works in the entertainment industry, who works with children, who works in the financial sector, works with speculation. So there are very many combinations here, but overall this is a good placement to have, provided other afflictions are not there. Then the fifth lord in the eighth house, again a challenging placement because the trinal lord has gone into a trik bhava, and that to the eighth house, most malefic house. So here your mind goes into eighth house matters, your mind goes into absorbing occult issues. Good for research, good for applying your intelligence into research, into occult issues, understanding difficult things, things which are not easily understood. So good for PhD scholars, researchers, etc. People who work in archaeology, mining, restoration, right? But on the other side, this is a difficult placement in terms of the matters of your heart. So this could give you heartbreaks. Your heart breaks many times. You find it difficult to carry on with any love affairs, with any romantic matters. So there could be a break in your romantic affairs, one or two breakups, major breakups you get to see. This is something which I've seen in my readings. Right? So this is my observation. Your love affairs or your romantic partner can suddenly leave you, or you suddenly there's a breakup, things are going fine, but it doesn't get just before getting hitched legally, getting married, something happens and there's a break in the love affair. So these kind of possibilities can be seen. This could also show somebody who has to undergo some kind of a medical procedure or surgery to have children. So having children also becomes a little challenging. So use of complicated medical procedures for having children, or while the children are being born, some complication occurs, right? So then the fifth lord in the ninth house. The fifth lord in the ninth house shows that the planet has gone, the fifth lord has gone into the higher note of the fifth house. So count five houses from the fifth house, it's the ninth house. So as per the principle of bhavat bhavam, it has gone into a higher note. So this is an auspicious placement, good placement to have. The trine, Dharma trine, is getting stronger. It gives support to the Lagna also when the fifth lord goes into the ninth house. So you are mentally and physically a very strong person. Your education also goes on very well. You could have obstacle free education, higher education. You're able to understand difficult subjects, able to understand and study whatever you want to. Support from the teachers, support from higher institutions. You get good mentors, good gurus to help you learn whatever you want. This also shows that your children are also very lucky. So you are able to support your children and they also support you. Right? So fifth lord going into the ninth, or the ninth lord coming into the fifth, the principle of bhavam is supporting it. So both are very auspicious placements. Then this could also show that you yourself have very good advisory or teaching capabilities. You're a good advisor, you're a good counselor, you're a good teacher yourself. So in the field of education you can do very well. You can excel very well in teaching, in instructing. You yourself can become a very good mentor. Then the fifth lord in the 10th house. Fifth lord in the 10th house is again a good placement in terms of your career. But in some cases, this can also show frequent changes in your career or difficulties in your career. So once you overcome some initial difficulties, is when you settle in your career. When the fifth lord goes into the 10th house, it is going to the sixth place from itself. So some challenges, some competition, difficulties, hurdles are definitely seen there. This could be someone who does something different from what they've studied. So they have to diversify from their education. When they come to their profession, they do something different. They have to use a lot of mental energy. Apart from the physical bit, I'm not talking about the physical bit here. The mental energy which your profession requires is very high. So you have to do a lot of detailed analysis, crunching numbers, crunching a lot of facts and figures all the time. A lot of analysis at work. So these people could be, like, one of the examples could be market analysts, people who work in the field of the people who are in the financial sector, who are doing market analysis, who are doing market research, who are in the fields of consulting. So these kind of people can be seen. This also shows that you are capable of doing a lot of work for children, for your children, for your society at large, for people as such. So you're able to use your mental faculties very well. You're very conscious of your dharma. 10th house is a very important house. 10th house is not only the house of profession, uh, it shows the overall karma which you're doing. What kind of karma? What kind of work do you do? So if a good planet is involved over here and there's no affliction over here, then it shows that you are able to use your mental faculties properly and do something at a greater level. You can take a good amount of responsibility towards a social cause also. Then the fifth lord in the 11th house. From when the fifth lord goes into the 11th house, it aspects the fifth house also. So good for progeny, good for gain of children, good children, children who are in sync with you, right? Who are aligned to the way you think. Then this could also be a good placement for investments. So people who, I have seen this particular placement in people who regularly trade in equity, in stocks, futures and options. So I've seen this very, very frequently. It's a very prominent feature when the fifth lord goes into the 11th house. So gain from investing. They have a good sense of, they have an innate quality of, making good investments. So they know where to invest, what kind of returns will they get. Good returns on investments. The children could also be very sound financially. They are also inclined like you are. So overall, good for people who are also able to put their creativity into use. So people who are authors, writers, creative people, they gain from their ventures. When they put their creativity to use, they gain from it. Then the fifth lord in the 12th house. When the fifth lord goes into the 12th house, it goes 8 places from itself. So it goes to a trik bhava also, and the 8th from itself. So sometimes this shows that this person, this native, travels abroad for education, travels away from home for their education, or learns something which is of foreign nature. So can learn a foreign language, specializes in something which is related to a foreign culture. So people who take up something which is very different, Roman history, Egyptian history, something which is not of your homeland, shows going away from home for education, for work. So very good for people who learn foreign languages, who travel very frequently away from their home. Also shows somebody who has, who's able to use their mind towards spiritual matters. So these people can get a good understanding of spiritual matters. Higher spirituality calls them. They like to spend time in sadhana. They like to take up pilgrimages. They like to go for retreats alone. They like to spend time in isolation. And sometimes I've seen these are the people who take up difficult treks, difficult, pilgrimages. Fifth house is also the house of mantra sadhana, of your isht, of your guru, of the deity you pray to. So these people take up difficult treks to experience something which is beyond the ordinary. right? So a difficult placement, a different kind of a placement depending on how you use this energy. So for some, this can be very difficult. If you're not using your energy in learning something new, in learning something different from your culture, in traveling frequently, then this can become a difficult energy to handle, right? But if you're using your energy in doing something different, learning something new, learning something which is offbeat, then this energy can be handled very well as well. Yeah. So this was all about the fifth lord's placement in your birth chart. Remember, this is a general indication. More is to follow, right? So once I finish with the house lord series, I'll talk about the various planets which are involved in these placements as well. So I'll see you very soon in my next video. Till then, take care. God bless you all.